There's a candle in the wind, never knowing where's that sound coming from. Is it right here? We're gonna set it free. We're gonna set ourselves free from that mess. From that mess that was just there. Never knowing where the rain coming. Oh baby, let's start that again. Good morning. Using our sense of the world to make sense of the world. World peace through individual strength. Waking the worlds up. Physically, mentally, and spiritually, then physically again. Why? To feel better, objectively. How's that even possible? Through you. Aren't you an object? Isn't your body objective? And your only no-nonsense podcast, Best Feeling Network. This is Pal Go On. Good morning. Are you ready to stretch our self-awareness like a muscle this morning? How art thou doing wherever you are, whenever thou art? Are we remembering to allow all these words enter one ear and out the other and observe our sense of self here today on Pal Go On? It is 5:39 a.m. in the morning on Friday, July 30th, 2021, Freedom Friday. Today we talk about how you do good, how to do good. Well, you feel good. Because when you feel good, you think good, and you do good. We'll be right back here on Pal Go On. I'm so happy to see you. I'm so happy to hear from you. I'm so happy to think about you. I'm so happy to... He's not in my thoughts. He's not in my thoughts. Diddy Bobby, Diddy Bobby, Diddy Bobby, Diddy Bobby. How are you guys doing today? Most importantly, have you been able to... What? Feel yourself in the awareness that you are in that godlike body of yours, that window to that godlike experience of yours, you godlike creature, you. Have you been able to stretch your self-awareness like a muscle? Have you been able to feel the weight of the body down the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches at all the times? What does that mean? It means follow that these blue lines, as in the weight, as the way it's designed, is to be in the front of your body, contrary to what you would think about it being called the back. But the spine holds weight on the front, as the weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. Would you say it with me today on Freedom Fridays in Pal Go On, with Pal Go On? The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. Say it with me. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. Again, one more time, say it with me. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. And then just to mess with you, could be like messing with you a little bit. Again, the weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. Can we say portion of the spine is the front? Again, one more time, say it with me. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. And isn't that true? How does that feel with you? One more time. You want to say it with me? Pretend that there's a, one more time, would you say it with me? The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. One more time, would you say it with me? The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. And just observe how your sense of self feels. As what are we here to do on Pal Go On? It's to make you feel good on the inside out. From the inside out. From the inside out. How is that possible to make you feel good from the inside out? Well, by shifting your awareness, your superpower, your awareness that no one else can touch, but is so fast, lightning quick, as you can feel maybe like the front of your spine or the front of your shirt. You could feel your chest and the shirt lying on your chest, but at the same time, you can shift your awareness to feeling the back of your heel simultaneously, yet you cannot really see those things at the same time. Or your ability to shift your awareness to maybe feeling a wound. You might, when you get a wound on your arm, you might isolate that wound in your awareness to try to either separate it, or it might feel like it's part of your entire whole body. Your awareness, the superpower of yours, it's always shifting. It's always changing shapes depending on how you want to, right? As in, how do you know you got off the right side of the bed versus the wrong side of the bed? How do you know that? What do you feel that in? Is that not in your body's sense of self? In your body's awareness, right? Your body's awareness of itself. Is that not where you get this feeling of the good side of or the bad side of the bed? As you were waking up and stretching your self-awareness like a muscle today. Is your self-awareness not that superpower in and of itself? How crazy is that you can bend it, shift its size, expand it, compress it, contrast it, bend it around, change its shape, split it apart, put it back together again? How do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? What do you mean? What do you mean by all this? What do you mean superpower? I'm really able to do that with my awareness? I'm really able to stretch it around like jelly, like an aura around me? Yes, you are. As in your awareness, what your attention on, isn't it so quick and isn't it so 3D and like all encompassing in like all directions, right? As in you can pay attention to something as in like the way your shirt feels on your back, but simultaneously your awareness and your attention can be feeling the front of your thigh and looking down at the front of your thigh while feeling the back of your shirt, doing these two seemingly unrelated things, but having this full 3D body experience. Able to feel in 3D, your awareness, right? Such a crazy superpower. Almost like being in two places at once. It can have its attention in two places at once. Or you can make it feel like it's all in the same place, can't you? You can feel like your left arm is separate than your body. And observe your sense of self as you pretend to do that or as you imagine that. You can imagine that your left arm is separate from your body, like if you're trying to raise your hand for a question, right? In class. You can. You can separate your attention and your awareness of your own body like that, can't you? Split it apart and put it back together, as in, once you think about your arm being separate from your body, your left arm being separate from your body, can't you also then think about your body being one whole that also has a left arm? Can't you also integrate your left arm back into your entire body such that it feels like it's back with the entire body again? It's one part of the entire whole and no longer a separate part of the whole as you were using it to raise your arm. As in, when you're running or walking, can't your left arm can be integrated into your balance and operate as one part of the larger machine as opposed to being separated when you're trying to raise your hand for a question, for example? Versus raising your arm, just one arm in isolation, versus when you're doing an entire coordinated movement like running or maybe just moving over to the refrigerator, your arms move gracefully in coordination with the entire body being one part of the entire whole. Your awareness, your ability to pull it apart and push it back together. Our body, our awareness of the world, we can even do that, right? So how are you making you feel so good from the inside out? By using that awareness, super muscle, super power of yours from the inside. and just guiding you on how to use that superpower, as that is your superpower. What am I going to do from the outside out, from the outside in? How could anybody help you from the outside in? How could anyone make you feel any better for any significant amount of time from the outside in when they're battling against this crazy 3D inside force of yours? This awareness of where you want to place your body, and your whole body obeys you. Even when you walk, even when you run, even when you're snowboarding, even when you're skydiving. You're doing entire coordinated movements with this 3D body experience. So hard to explain, but I can meet you there in a second if I know what position you're talking about. How do I describe this position? How do you describe that? Well, my right arm is above my head, and then my left thumb is kind of twisted, and my right thumb is a little in front of my forehead. No, so difficult. But then if I just look at it, my body could just do it. Your body can just meet you at that position. Or if you're snowboarding, you're walking, your body just knows what to do. You're not languaging it out into this string of language of, okay, my hand's gonna do that, my arm's gonna do that. But no, it's a 3D experience that happens pseudo instantly. So you have this superpower of yours, your awareness, your awareness of your own body to be able to do that kind of thing. As in, your body is aware of itself such that it can move itself and coordinate itself to be in those positions. It's communicating so quick, because it's communicating in a 3D space all at the same time, as in, you can feel your skin on the right arm same time as you can feel your left arm skin, right? But they're totally different things in your head, right? It's like quantum mechanics. It's like quantum computing. It's like our brains can't actually be in two places at once if it's in this body area. Our brain actually can be in two places at once, and it can integrate those ideas, put them together, or keep them separate. Make it feel like, yeah, those are two separate arms, or be like, yeah, my entire body is hurting, and that's one idea. Is that not true? How does that resonate with you? Is your body not able to do those things, those crazy, wonderful things with your awareness, able to split apart and put it back together again? Is that not true? Not just in the outside world, but in the inside world especially, and vice versa. So what power, what hope would I have to convince you or to encourage you to feel or think or do anything? What power would I have to make you feel anything against that crazy superpower of yours? Able to split apart, put it back together again, to make your body feel good, to get a better breath, to become aware of the proper things in life that will have you feel better, and to have a better breath, and to have more fortunate circumstances, and to have better returns on your risks in life. That superpower of awareness of yours, able to split apart things and put them back together again, not just in your inside world, but in the outside world, but especially in this inside world of yours. Every time that we separate our foot when we get hurt or something like that, our body is able to do this super magical power awareness thing where it either feels like the foot can be separated from our body so we can limp for a while so we can keep it safe, and then when it feels better, we can integrate that part of our body back into our body again to be part of the whole again. Isn't that so amazing? Your body just can do all those things, and you're not thinking about doing all those things. It just knows what to do. It just knows how to affect your posture so that you can get a decent breath while you're letting this thing recover. All these compensatory muscles, these muscles that are acting to compensate for the fact that your foot hurts. So what power from the outside in, using this language thing, would we have against this monolith, against this behemoth, this behemoth power inside of you, this superpower inside of you, this awareness inside of you? How do we make you feel better from the inside out? How can anyone hope to influence you from the outside in? How could anyone hope to influence you from the outside in when all of us have this crazy behemoth power of awareness within us, affecting our body and what we pay attention to and how we feel, which affects how we think, which affects how we do? What hope do we have in the outside world to try to influence that on the inside? What hope would be on the outside world would we have to force you to do anything when you have that monolith power inside of you? Well, to affect you from the inside out. As in, maybe convince that that monstrous power inside of you to use it for something else. To use it properly. As in, maybe to convince that monolith, behemoth power inside of you that it should pay attention to a certain thing. Maybe we can't control it, but maybe we can cause it to pay attention to certain things. Like pretending that there's a candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out. Would you pretend with me, before we go on a short break, would you pretend with me that there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out? And to leave your swallowing muscles alone as you do that, and to just simply observe your sense of self. As you one more time pretend with me that there is a candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out. That you're trying to not put out. And to leave your swallowing muscles alone and just observe your sense of self. One more time, would you please pretend with me that there is a candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out? And simply to leave your swallow muscles alone and observe your sense of self as you do this. One more time, would you please pretend with me that there is a candle, a lit candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out? Don't think about exhaling, don't think about inhaling. But just pretend that there's a candle in front of the lips, a flickering candle, a lit candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. And to leave your swallowing muscles alone as you do so, and just observe your sense of self. Think about exhaling, don't think about inhaling. Simply pretend that there is a candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out. As you leave your swallowing muscles alone. How do you do good? Today on Freedom Fridays. Today on Freedom Fridays, knowing that you have this monolithic behemoth of a monster inside of you, this superpower that is your awareness, able to take apart worlds and put them back together. Knowing that you have this superpower inside of you, how do you do good? On Freedom Fridays, are you ready to do good? Are you ready to feel so good from the inside out? How do you feel good? How do you do good? How do you do good? How do you do good? As we're feeling so good from the inside out. How do you do good? We'll be right back. I'm Pow going. You. noticed something pretty cool about the fact that like it echoed earlier. That's not so bad because at least we knew that it's working. It's actually on Twitch and DLive. Unlike the days previous, there's been some technical difficulties. A few technical difficulties. Shigga. Hello there. Using our sense of the world to make sense of the world. World peace. Through inner peace. Through our peace. Through individual strength. Waking your worlds up physically, mentally, spiritually, and then physically again. Why? To feel better, objectively. How is that even possible? Through you from the inside out. And with Pal Go On. Brought to you by the Best Feeling Network. I'm your host, Herbie. It is 6 a.m. on Freedom Fridays. July 30th, 2021. Good morning. This is Pal Go On. Are you please remembering to allow all of these words enter one ear and out the other? Extracting the meaning that makes sense to you as we stretch our self-awareness like a muscle on this morning. Whatever you are doing, wherever you are. Thank you for joining here. Whether you are in the car, driving around town, or really far, maybe you're in a plane right now and you have us on airplane mode. I want to thank you for being here. I want to invite you to stretch your self-awareness with me. Your awareness of yourself. And to assist you, I want to invite you to pretend that there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. And to leave your swallowing muscles alone as you do so. Again. That is to pretend there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. And to leave your swallowing muscles alone. Just observe your sense of self. Don't think about breathing in or out. Just simply pretend that there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. So leave your swallowing muscles alone. And all things that are associated with it. Don't think about exhaling. Don't think about inhaling. Just pretend there's a candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out. So leave your swallowing muscles alone. And just observe your sense of self as this happens. Again, would you please with me pretend that there's a candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out? Simply to leave your swallowing muscles alone. And simply just observe your sense of self. As in, is it easy to feel the body into this front of the spine and into the rainbow arches, allowing your weight to be delivered equally into these rainbow arches, and to the sit bones, where your body delivers weight into your sitting surface, not into your legs, which you clearly do not sit on, as those are kind of jutting and floating outside of your pelvis bone, is it not? And always keeping the front of the shins in our awareness, not those back fleshy calves, that are great for moving our body around, but those fleshy calves are only going to bring you pain and more unnecessary suffering should you try to place a weight on fleshy calves. Imagine trying to stand a piece of steak up. Your body delivers weight through bones, which is why there is potential to sometimes feel heavy or to feel light. Why is that? Because if your weight is being delivered into your bones, which don't have nerve endings and which are very hard, their structure is purposed to retain a structure and for us to hold our structure upwards. And since they have no nerve endings, can give us a sensation of weightlessness, since our weight is being delivered into something that's designed to handle weight and to not feel weight. Feel weight as we are placing the weight of the body into their proper areas, not into the back fleshy calves, but into the front of those shins, those beautiful shins of yours. And you might not want to do that because we have a fear of hurting our shins from what? Bike pedal. Ouch, just thinking about it makes me hurt. I'm hitting our shins on tables, low tables maybe. Sides of beds, pottery stands, the sides of tables. How many things have our shins hit? So there's a tendency to not want to put weight there. We think the idea of putting weight there would allow it to get struck more. However, it's not necessarily true, as you have an entire body, as we've described, right? As your left arm is part of this entire body, so are your shins part of this entire body. So as you place weight on the front of your shins, you might see other things happen. You might see your ankles rotate upwards to compensate so they can place balance here. You might see your knees bend inwards. You might see your hip joints turn outwards. You might see a chain reaction of a bunch of movements that seem foreign and dangerous and scary. Why? Well, weren't these patterns and feeling these parts of your body, weren't they formed by dangerous things happening to you, and you're trying to avoid danger to your shins? So going back to that form, placing weight into the front of the shins, where we were so afraid of in the past, because we were afraid of striking them. We were thinking isolatedly, we weren't thinking holistically about these shins being part of an entire body. We were thinking very isolated and compartmentalized. We were like, these shins, I'm scared of the damage of these shins, so I'm trying to avoid the damage on these shins. Little did we know that when you place weight onto the front of your shins, you also place weight onto the front of your shoulders and the front of your face. Your entire body has in a total forward disposition, which in the end ends up making your legs feel like they're behind you anyway, because your entire body is moving forward anyway. Together now. So any force that happens to the front of your shins, well, there's no conflict with the rest of your body, and it can be absorbed properly. The rest of your body doesn't feel as much damage as you're placing the body into the front of the shins. Which is the funny thing, because it is so counterintuitive. As you strike your shins all throughout life, you would think you don't want to put the weight of the body down the front of the shins because you don't want damage there. However, when you place your weight of the body down there, your weight is able to be delivered into the proper places of your body. No longer are you afraid of the outside world, but rather loving the inside feeling of following the body's design. Placing the weight of the body into the design that we did not choose. We did not choose this design. You were not in the womb stitching together your design. You were not in the womb schematicking the front of your shins, but rather we just came along here and we're like, hey, look, wow, there are better ways to use the body which we didn't even design. Let's discover that. What happens when you place the weight of the body into the front of the shins? What happens when you place the front of the shins into the awareness? Well, the rest of your body places its weight into the front of its balance into the front of the shins, into the weight-bearing portion of the spine as well. And it also allows you to help feel the separation between your legs and your pelvis bone, your idea of a sitting surfaces. Your idea of a sitting part of your body, you want to separate that from your idea of your legs, and feeling the front of your shins kind of helps do that. It kind of helps do that. And so, when your body is following its design from the inside out, isn't it able to distribute weight, distribute pain, distribute pleasure, and allow for damage, allow for, what's the word I'm looking for? Striking force. It allows for the vibration and the leeway that being able to deliver. For example, if you hit your arm on a table, it's able to deliver weight and distribute the weight through all these vibrations into different parts of your body, should there not be any conflict or resistance in the body. If your body is relaxed, from the inside out, is it not able to distribute feelings properly, so that pain sometimes feels better, sometimes feels worse? Doesn't pain sometimes feel better or worse depending on if you're relaxed or if you're tense? Right? The last thing they tell you, the thing they tell you to never do when you are in a rolling or a balance sport, and you're like, crap, you're falling now. The thing they tell you to do, relax. They never tell you to tense up. Why? Because when you tense up, your body sends pressure, it sends force, it sends impact to all the wrong parts of your body. Your body's not able to absorb impact properly. If your body is tense, your body ends up absorbing impact into certain parts of your body, specific parts of your body, like your elbow or your fingers, smaller parts of your body, which aren't able to take the impact. And so you end up hurting parts of your body, damaging parts of your body. How? By not relaxing the body. How do we relax the body? We place the weight of the body. We place our attention and our awareness of the weight of our body into these proper weight-bearing portions of the body, which feel good from the inside out. And we know they feel good because they make us feel weightless. They make us feel poised to move, balanced, because all of the weight is being placed onto the bones, which means the muscles would now have complete freedom to just tug a little bit, and now the bones just go because they're already been balanced. And your awareness is doing that. Your awareness is doing that. Feeling where to place the weight of itself, with the assistance of some knowledge, with the assistance of some language, which allows us to finally give ourselves permission to do certain things. Like, we might have felt these sensations before as we were feeling the front of our shins in the past, but now giving ourselves permission, as it is the right thing to do, or to just at least explore it and see how it feels from the inside out. And you tell me. As opposed to abiding by the rules that the outside world might have set for us because of these ideas of what we wanted to avoid, the pain in the front of our shins again. We might be abiding by these rules that the world has set for us to make sure that that doesn't happen again. We have to move our body a certain way. We have to pay attention to certain things to avoid the damage that we once felt from the outside world. Your body wasn't created from the outside world, though. Your body was created from the inside world. Your body was created from the inside world. As in, let's place our attention back onto the inside world and where it feels good to place the weight of the body into the front of the shins. And how do we know that? Because it feels good from the inside out. As opposed to trying to avoid attention on the front of the shins, which feels bad from the inside out. But why would we do that? Because we were trying to conform to a rule or a world on the outside in that would hopefully make us avoid that suffering that time. So we might try to not place the weight of the body into the front of the shins because we're trying to avoid previous sufferings that came along when we place the weight of the body into the front of the shins. But when we pay attention to the inside world, the entire body begs you to place the weight of the body into the front of the shins. It begs you to forget the pain of the past. And to see the pain of the past was not due So you place the weight of the body on the front of the shins, but due to a bunch of other factors. Just because it might have happened to the front of the shins does not mean that the front of the shins is now the villain. It does not mean it's the bad guy now. Your body is begging you to feel the front of your shins. Your body is begging you to do good. Your body is begging you, even though it hurt at one point. Your body is begging you to do good. Your body is absolutely begging you to do good from the inside out. It's asking you not to avoid wrong from the outside in. Your body's not asking you to avoid death and pain from the outside in. Your body's not asking you to avoid death and pain from the outside in. The previous times that you can remember your shins getting hurt. The times in this hypothetical future where you think about your shins getting hurt. The vision and the sight of the idea of maybe my shins getting hurt. Your body does not want you to think about that. Your body does not beg you to be afraid of those times that your shins got hurt. Your body is begging you to make your shins feel good. It is not asking you to be afraid of those times where your shins were in pain. Your body is begging you to make your shins feel good. Your body is begging you to place your weight of the body into the front of the shins, into your awareness. Your body is begging you to feel the front of your shins into your awareness. Your body is begging you to do good, not to be afraid of bad. Because what does it know? What does it know? Your body is begging you to do good, to feel the front of your shins. Your body's not asking you to avoid bad. As in, your body's not asking you to keep your shins out of risk and out of your awareness and to hide them. Your body's asking you to do good, not to be afraid of bad. I'll be right back. using our sense of the world to make sense of the world, achieving world peace through individual strength, waking your worlds up physically, mentally, spiritually, and then physically again. Why? To feel holistically better. Objectively, how's that even possible? Through you, from the inside out, baby. And with the help of your No Nonsense podcast, brought to you through the Best Feeling Network. And with your host, Herbie. Every 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. On YouTube, D-Live, and Twitch. This is Pow Go On. Your body is begging you to do good. Your body is begging you to do good. Your body is begging you to feel the front of your shins. Your body is not begging you to avoid damage to the front of the shins. Your body doesn't know about the front of the shins damage. Your body doesn't know about that. Your body doesn't know about your body's not thinking about your front of your shins' history. Your mind might be, your brain, your scared little child might be. But should you place your awareness on your body's not thinking about that. Your body's here and now always. Your body is always just here and now. It can always ever just be here and now. Your body is so 3D, unlike your memories, right? When you think about your body being here and now, when you pretend with me that there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out, and to leave your swallowing muscles alone as you do that. As you're observing your sense of self, as you pretend that there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out, and to leave your swallowing muscles alone. And observing your sense of self as you do that. As in, where are you right now? As in your sense of self, as in not just your body, but your body's relationship with everything around it. Your body's relationship with the trees outside, with the room that you're in, with yourself, your own body, your body's relationship with everything around you, where you are right here, right now, when you pretend there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. To leave your swallowing muscles alone. And how you blend in with the rest of the world around you right now. How does your sense of self feel? As you one more time pretend that there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. And to leave your swallowing muscles, of course, alone. How does your sense of self feel? How does it feel to allow these words go in one ear and out the other? The left ear and then in and then out at the right ear. You imagine these words like a color or a shape, or even just the actual letters themselves. If you imagine them going into the left ear and out the other. How does your sense of self feel when you do that? How does your sense of self feel when you pretend that there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out? And you leave your swallowing muscles alone. Don't even think about exhaling or inhaling. Just pretend that there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. And to leave your swallowing muscles alone. Don't even think about exhaling or inhaling. And how does your sense of self feel from that on this Freedom Friday? And isn't that sense of self so 3D? And how does that compare to your memories? How does that compare to those times that where you think about hitting the front of your shins, and now that you're scared of the front of your shins, so you place your weight onto your calves because you're afraid of hitting the front of your shins? How does that feeling that you just had right now, that we're going through today, how does that feeling compare to your memories? Isn't this much more 3D? Isn't your body so much more in 3D here and now? And hasn't that always been the case? What does your body know about other times when you're pretending there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out? To leaving your swallowing muscles alone, what is your body thinking about at times, or no? Is your body just here and now, feeling so good here and now, allowing itself to feel itself, to expand its sense of self in order to balance itself in all directions like a tent? Feeling all of yourself by pretending there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. And to leave your swallowing muscles alone and just embrace all of those different muscles that are now being engaged. Feel that beautiful oneness with that present moment now. Feel that beautiful oneness with your world around you, the world inside of you. Feel that oneness. Or your relationship with it, at least, whether it's easy to get there or not. As you're one more time pretending with me that there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. To leave your swallowing muscles alone and observe your sense of self. As you're hanging out with your only podcast in 3D, your first podcast in 3D. Doesn't it feel so good to just be in that moment and to focus all of the attention on simply opening your body to this moment? Being more absorbent to this moment as it's infinity. This moment right now is infinity. There's infinity around you. There's an infinity around you. As you pretend that there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. To leave your swallowing muscles alone. To simply open ourselves up to this idea of this infinity around us that exists here and now, but only here and now. It's an infinity that we become more and more receptive to and that we get more of the more we are here and now. The more we subtract other moments, the more infinity we get in this moment here and now. Where we do good. Maybe we can't do good out there. We can do good by doing good in here. Right? You're trying to do good out there in the world? Isn't that done by you? And isn't you defined by this inside world on the inside? So how could you do good on the outside if the inside is not being done good to? How can you do good to the outside world if the inside is not being done good to? Are you not crippling the tool that is supposed to be doing something good to the outside world? Well, isn't your good for the outside world also the decisions that you make, the ideas that you have, the feelings that you have, the amount of contributions you can make to the world? And isn't that usually defined by how you feel on the inside? So how do you do good for the world? Don't you gotta feel good on the inside so you can do good for the world? And isn't that all we can really do is just affect our inside world anyway? How we're breathing, what our attention is on, what our awareness is on to make ourselves feel good. Even ignoring pain can be a form of not doing good because you are not allowing yourself to be aware of something that could make you do good in the future. If you don't allow this pain into your awareness, sometimes allowing pain into your awareness as a human being can allow you to do good because the feeling might not be good, but allowing it into your awareness allows you to address the problem so you can begin to do good for the world. How are you going to go do good for the world if you got a stomach ache that you can't handle? How are you going to do good for the world if you're depressed? The decisions you're making, you might be thinking, oh, but I'm donating all this money, but I'm doing all these things for all these people. Really? Do you think that you maybe would have been donating more money? Do you think maybe you would have been more productive? Do you think maybe you wouldn't have missed work so many times if you looked after number one first? If you felt good so that you thought good, so that you did good? Don't we gotta feel good to think good, to do good? Because isn't this body the thing that does good for the rest of the world that we want it to do? For ourselves and the rest of the world. We want it to do good for ourselves and the rest of the world. So doesn't this thing have to be good? But what does good mean? Have you ever heard of the term, no man is good? How is it possible to be good? Have you ever heard of the phrase, no man is good? Or they say, Superman does good. You're doing well. Have you heard that? people be like, how you doing today? And you're like, I'm good. Hey. Superman does good. You're doing well. What does that mean, though? Have you thought about that? Have you heard that before? And second of all, have you thought about that before? No, bro. Superman does good. You're doing well, my friend. What does that mean? Good versus well. Well is a state of being. Good has more to do with truth. Good has more to do with morals. So when someone says, how are you doing? You say, good. Unless you're saving somebody vigilante style, which, I mean, is that even good? That's debatable. But unless you're doing something morally good, you're doing well. Or they're rather asking about your state. They're usually not asking about how you're doing morally. They're usually not like, hey, how's your bad guy quota? That's not usually what they're asking. But what we usually do is we end up kind of diminishing or destroying is a strong word. But we end up blurring the distinction between well and good. But there's a difference. Guess what your body wants you to do? Do good. By feeling the front of the shins and placing the weight of the body into the front of the shins. What is this good thing? Superman does good. You're doing well, my friend. Good is about morality, which is about truth, right? So if we're trying to feel good and think good, because feeling good will make you think good, and when you think good, you do good. How could we do good? Good is truth and it has to do with morality. Well is about like a state of your body, right? Whereas good is like a process thing. It's like a morality thing. It's like actions, right? So how do we do good? Is that even possible? Can humans do good, or are we always just like fumbling our way forward? When they say no one is good, only Superman does good. Because humans are just like chock full of all this ego and fear and phobias, right? And we project that into the outside world because we love people, but at the same time, we're also scared of things, right? So we project and defense mechanism and all those kind of things. So if Superman does good and we can only be doing well, is it possible for us to do good too? Can we ever do good also? Well, maybe. You godlike being, you. Because what is good? Moral truth, right? Why? Because everybody can do that together and it's good for society, right? It's good for everybody, your family. We're all doing good. Because you do good, that means you're doing something good for the self and the everybody, or else it's not good. If you're not doing something that's good, then it's not good, right? If you're not doing something that's for yourself individually and for the society, knowing all things that you know, and it's not good then, right? If Superman does good and we're only doing well, is there a way that we can also do good, Herbie? On Pal Go On? You know? If good is about morality and truth, because that leads to reduced unnecessary suffering for humankind in the future. If that's what good is this truth and morality thing, because those both things affect everybody in this positive direction that most people can agree on and that we've been working on for a while. Is there a way for us to do good? If good has to do with truth and morality? Is there a way for the body to feel good? If the idea of good is truth and morality, is it possible to feel good? What do that mean, huh? We always say, oh, it feels so good, Is it possible to feel good if good is about truth and morality? What does that even mean? It sounds like counterproductive, right? Is it possible to feel good if good is about truth and morality? I'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Using our sense of the world to make sense of the world. World peace through individual strength. Waking your world up. Physically, mentally, spiritually, and then physically again. Why? To feel better. Objectively. How? Through you. From the inside out. The only no nonsense podcast brought to you through the Best Feeling Network. I'm your host, Herbie. Good morning. This is Pagwan. Have you been able to place the weight of the body into the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches like all of the times and feeling the front of your shins? And then remembering that you do not sit on your legs. And before we move forward, would you please pretend with me that there's a candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out. A lit candle that you're trying to not put out in front of the lips. You're not trying to exhale, you're not trying to inhale, just pretend that there's a lit candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out. And to leave your swallowing muscles alone. And to observe your sense of self as this happens. Again, one more time, would you please pretend with me there's a lit candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out. To leave your swallowing muscles alone. And simply observe your sense of self as this happens. Dr. Dutch, restless. If good has to do with truth and morality, is it possible to feel good? What the hell? Can you feel morality? Can you feel truth in your body in a way that's relevant to when people say I'm feeling good? How are you feeling today? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling truth. I'm feeling moral. Is that what people think about? Or are they talking about a general state of kinesthesia? Are they talking about a sense of self? Right? So is there a way to make that sense of self feel good, truthful, moral? Maybe! As in, how does it feel to place the weight of the body into the back of the spine and into the tailbone? Are those truthful areas? How does it feel to deliver weight down the back of the calves instead of the front of the shins? How does that feel for you? Is that not something that's true, that your body is supposed to deliver weight down the front of the shins? Is that not obvious from the design? If you're just looking at a leg, is that not, after a little bit of massaging of your logic and reasoning, of our inside logic and reasoning, is it not becoming a little bit more apparent and obvious that yes, actually, there is a way that the body wants to place the weight, as in, look at those shin bones. Yeah, actually, when you think about the structure, yeah, they would take the weight. And yeah, when you look at the fleshy calves, those like floaty, impressively large calves of yours, when you look at them, those fleshy, juicy things of those, it's like, yeah, actually, yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to sustain any weight on there. Though, they can pull all day. They can pull you all day, or they can pull your leg and stretch in all ways. But delivering the weight there, what's more true? Delivering weight into the beams, those shins, or delivering weight into the curtains, the things that hang on the beams, those calves? Which one do you deliver weight into? The beams? The structure? The hard surfaces? of the walls of, like, if you're thinking about a room, or do you use the soft structures like a curtain? Which one do you place your weight on? Isn't there something true about placing the weight of the body into the front of the shins? So they want to talk to you about how, like, anyone's allowed to do anything, right, in modern day society. And they want to go around saying, like, yeah, that's why there's no good guys. There's no good girls anymore. There's no good guys out there anymore, guys. There's no good people. Well, I mean, because don't you have people out there who are literally want to deny the most inner truth from the inside out? So how could they be good? How could we have good people if we have people literally denying realities from the inside out? You got people telling you that people could do whatever they want with their body, right? As in, like, the body has no design. It has nothing to do. There's no such thing as truthful in the body. But isn't there something true about placing the weight into the front of the shins? Isn't there something true about that? Isn't there something true about placing the weight into the weight-bearing portions of your body, as in the front of the shins? Isn't there a actual design from the inside out that your body is supposed to do? As in, your body does have mechanisms from the inside out. This awareness, your self-awareness, you're able to stretch that like a muscle. And move your left arm separate than your body, or make it feel like your left arm is part of your body again. It's part of the whole, like when you're running. Your awareness, your body's ability to shift your awareness, like that's so powerful from the inside out. It can do whatever it wants, which means it's free to place the weight of the body into the tailbone if it wants to and experience unnecessary suffering, or try to place the weight of the body into the calves, for example, and suffer that way and have the rest of the body try to compensate for that, and you end up with indigestion, you end up with back problems, end up with leg problems, knee problems, neck problems. And are those good? They want to act like the body can do they want to act like the body's going to function most efficiently in any which way it wants to. But isn't there truth to placing the weight of the body into the weight-bearing portions of the body, like the front of the shins? Or placing weight into the calves? Not so true, right? What are we here to do to place the weight of the body and, like, counteract gravity? It's not so true to place weight into the calves, right? So they're gonna act like everybody can just do whatever they want in the inside body without consequences, like blah 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 blah. And they want to say that there's no good guys out there. They want to say there's no good people out there. They want to say there's no good people and there's no good men out there. There's no good girls out there. Yeah, well, how can you be good from the inside out if good has to be with truth and morality, and we're not agreeing on the fact that there is a truthful way to use your body? If we're denying that there is such a thing as truthful within the body, how could you feel good? But on the flip side, if you are feeling the weight of the body into the front of the shins, isn't there something true about the front of the shins taking those weights? Isn't there something true about that? Just the same way that isn't there something true about your body, about how your mouth ingests food or takes in food? Your nose breathes in air. Your eyes takes in sight. Isn't it true that the front of the shins take the weight and not the back of them? Not the back of the lower legs, those calves. Isn't it true that the front of the shins take the weight? Just the same way that your eyes will take vision or will take light. Isn't it true that the front of your shins want to take the weight? They're designed to take the weight in the same way that your ears are designed to sit on that side of your head and to absorb and to take in sound. Isn't there something true about that? Isn't there something true, which means, isn't there something good about placing our awareness on this idea of this truthfulness of where the body wants to place the weight, of choosing to place our awareness of where the body honestly wants to deliver its weight and where it's truthfully designed to place its weight, by placing our awareness on where it's truthfully designed to place its weight, are we not now doing good for ourselves? Are we not now doing good? So as we are feeling our weight being delivered into its truthful areas of the body, are we not feeling good? And when you feel good, don't you think good, don't you do good? Say it with me. You feel good, you think good, you do good. Say it with me. You feel good, you think good, you do good. Say it with me. You feel good, you think good, you do good. One more time, would you please? Please, please, please say it with me before we go. You feel good, you think good, you do good. And isn't that so true? Bum, 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 bum. You know what time it is. When you feel good, you think good, you do good. And what is good? Truth. I mean, morality is truth, right? What is good? Truth. Truth is good. And there's not something true about the weight-bearing portion of our bodies. Is there not something true about the frontal portion of the spine, which is designed to deliver weight into the front of it? Is it not true that our bodies have a design to place the weighted body somewhere into our bodies, like the front of the shins, so that our calves can be free and floating and have freedom to move? Isn't it true that our bodies have a design? Isn't it true? Isn't it true that the front of the shins are designed to place to deliver weight and not the calves? And so how are we gonna do good? Well, when you feel good, you think good, you do good. But what is good? Truth. Truth is so good. So when you feel truth, you think truth, you do truth. How do you feel truth? Well, maybe placing the weight of the body into the front of the shins and not the back of the calves. Is there a way to feel good? Can't you do good? Can't you feel your body with honesty? As in, the honest place is the way to place the weight of the body and feel free on Freedom Friday! Been able to place the weight of the body into the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches at all of the times, and feel the front of the shins. And then you remember that you do not sit on your legs, as we are stretching our self-awareness like a muscle and feeling so good from the inside out, better than your morning would feel without. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys here next week. And remember, when you feel good, you think good, you do good. So feel good. Feel the front of the shins. And that is so good. It's so true. We'll see you next week. I love you guys. Oh, shoot. Oh yeah. We cannot neglect you. So please, before we go, please, would you pretend with me in your first podcast with 3D? Would you please pretend with me? Does it make you feel so good from the inside out? Would you please pretend with me that there's a candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out? And to leave your swallowing muscles alone. Take care, guys, whether you are at work or at home. Big love. My name is Herbie. This is Padawan. Good morning. Friday. What are you doing? Get up out of there. Go be awesome today. Go be your awesome godlike self today. Whether it's in the morning, afternoon, or at night. Feel so good. Feel so right. We'll see you guys next week in the dead of night. Love you guys. Be good. All right. I'll see you guys next week. I love you guys. Be so good.